Hi, I'm Dr. Water. I'm a doctor, the kind who keeps working adults healthy, occupational, and preventive medicine. Read any story about exorcising curses, and one scene always shows up. Someone unleashes an enormous technique, then drops to their knees. Cast one too many times, and the lights go out. A person stalls, like a car out of gas. Fans ask me, what's actually happening there medically? Do people really pass out from running out of energy? Good question. And for me, it isn't only a fiction question. I see people who run themselves out of fuel and can't move in real workplaces. No technique names, no cursed energy, just quietly, like a battery going flat. So today, not as a review of the series, but as a story about your body, I'll check the math against real medicine. The short version up front, you spend all your power and collapse, is startlingly true. It's just that there's more than one way to go down. I'm not here to judge the series. I'm here to ask, if a human body did this, what would really happen? And back every medical claim with a paper. Cursed energy isn't real, so I'll read it as spend a huge amount of the body's energy all at once, and check that. Spend all your power, and you run out of gas and can't move. Real? Your muscles keep a stockroom. In these stories, a technique user who overdoes it suddenly finds their body won't obey and drops to a knee, drawn as an energy gauge hitting zero. Inside the body, this is surprisingly consistent. Muscle also runs on a sugar reserve called glycogen, and when that runs dry, you can't produce force. Here's the fun part. Even when whole body blood sugar is still fine, force falls just from the muscle's own glycogen running out. Even with ADP, the energy currency, still present in the muscle, once glycogen is depleted, the muscle stops releasing calcium properly. The contraction command doesn't get through, and it fatigues. Finer still, glycogen is stored in compartments within the muscle by location. In a small compartment, that's a tiny fraction of the total gets used up first. When that key location stock empties, a local energy shortage hits the very machinery that produces force, even though, by quantity, sugar remains. So, gauge hits zero, suddenly can't move, is less a fantasy exaggeration than close to how muscle actually works. That buckling knee is a good shot. Takeaway. Not running low on carbs before a long haul actually matters. It's inventory management, not willpower. When they pass out from exhaustion, what's happening? The culprit is the brain running out of gas. Sometimes a character who's spent everything doesn't just kneel, they lose consciousness and collapse. That's actually a different mechanism from the muscle story. The key is the brain. The brain runs almost solely on glucose and can't instantly switch to another fuel if it suddenly runs short. So if blood sugar drops too far, hypoglycemia, the brain stalls, consciousness clouds, or goes out. And this isn't armchair theory. Hypoglycemia can genuinely cause a transient loss of consciousness, fainting, that looks clinically just like a common dizzy spell faint, as documented in a case report. Things like skipping meals, disrupting supply, can be the trigger. The tricky bit, this kind of faint is hard to tell apart from an ordinary faint and easy to miss. So part of spins everything and drops flat is literally the brain's real fuel shortage disorder. Takeaway. A work style of skipping meals and gritting through long hours nudges the brain toward a fuel shortage. Noticing after you've collapsed is too late. Fighting on, drenched in sweat, until you drop? Is that real? Straight-faced here. In these stories, characters burn out in fierce, prolonged combat outdoors or in the heat. Here, running out of energy layers onto another real-world threat, heat and dehydration. Keep moving hard, let heat build in the body, and once thermoregulation and circulation can't keep up, you get exertional heat stroke. Its essence is described as severe hyperthermia followed by a body-wide inflammatory response and multi-organ injury. Add dehydration and blood volume falls and thickens, the heart works harder, brain blood flow drops, and it can contribute to fainting. And notably, exertional heat stroke can occur even without dehydration. I was drinking water, so I'm fine is not a guarantee. Heat and dehydration also erode your very capacity to move through several routes: brain, muscle metabolism, and circulation. A sweat-soaked character flagging isn't just staging, it's physiologically quite reasonable. From here, I write straight-faced. Exertional heat stroke is a medical emergency that can be fatal as it progresses. If you're active in heat or humidity and get dizziness, a pounding headache, nausea, clouding consciousness, a sudden stop in sweating, or a body that's abnormally hot. That is not a wall you push through on guts. Move to a cool place immediately, cool the body, and don't hesitate to call emergency services and get care. With hypoglycemia too, cold sweat, trembling hands, a fuzzy mind, or seizures are danger signs, and delay is dangerous. For both exertional heat stroke and hypoglycemia, the danger of these warning signs and the need for fast action are established basics of emergency and clinical medicine. Characters recover by the power of story. A real body has no continue. I'll confess, years ago, in high summer, I kept up field work while skipping lunch, figuring I'm sipping water constantly, so I'm fine. And by afternoon, the scenery lurched. What I'd taken in was only water, sugar close to zero. I'd neatly checked every box above. Doctors are the worst at underestimating their own bodies. So don't copy it. Takeaway: neither heat stroke nor hypoglycemia is a wall you cross on guts. Don't run out of sugar, not just water. And when a warning sign shows up, don't tough it out. Stop, cool down, get seen. This part, straight-faced. Pass out once, sleep, and you're fully restored. It doesn't quite work like that. In stories, a character who's fainted wakes up good as new. Sleep it off, and you're back. That's the picture. Reality is a little different here. A single hard bout of depletion does come back fairly quickly with sugar, fluids, and rest. The problem is repeating the depletion before recovery catches up. Keep overusing and underresting, and you can land in a state of chronic fatigue and sustained underperformance, what sports medicine calls overtraining syndrome. And here's the point. Recovery from that state takes weeks to months, sometimes longer, not one night. As an occupational doctor, this is almost continuous with workplace burnout. All-out back-to-back battles. Next mission before you've rested. That work style stops people less with a one-punch KO than with this slow failure to recover. Because there's no dramatic collapse, it's easy to miss. Takeaway: what's really scary isn't one moment of running out. It's repeating it without recovery. Rest isn't slacking. It's resupply for the next move. Cursed energy isn't real. But the machinery of spend your power and collapse is startlingly real. Muscle sugar runs out and force fails. Brain sugar runs out and consciousness goes. Heat and dehydration pile on. And what's truly frightening is repeating it without letting yourself recover. So today's one line: rather than empty the tank to the limit, refuel before you run dry, and actually recover. Not flashy, but it's the single finishing move for keeping up back-to-back battles in a real body. Manga is a doorway into how strange the human body is, and the real body is far more interesting than you'd guess. See you at the next checkup. Thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Water. Subscribe for the next body check, and I'll see you at the next appointment.